Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I was actually entering the office, and then my office light popped. Therefore, you see, Polly's face is a little bit darker today. A little bit mysterious. So, well, we might need to bear with the situation, maybe for a couple weeks. Usually, it takes time for a public university like NTU to address facility issues. So yeah, bear with the lighting condition. Let's take a look at the announcements today. Okay, so what you see here are just the lecture links and the Google Meet link. There are nothing more to add. Okay, unlike yesterday, we do have the reminders for the assignments this week. Okay, which is quiz 1, 2, and 3. For quiz 1, you guys did extremely well. Okay, I guess it's straightforward enough to work on. Quiz 2 and 3, however, okay, are not. Quiz 2, I will give you quite a bit of time. So some of the students are actually asking questions here. So what we will do also is to go through the Q&As on the score. Okay, that's not exactly happening in class, so that you guys are aware of them. So let's see. The Ask Us Anything. What do we have here? Okay. A student, Yirsa. I hope that I pronounced your name right. Okay, excuse my pronunciation sometimes when it's a different language. Okay, even for Latin languages, right? How Americans pronounce, how Europeans pronounce, Latins are very different. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, something like Isa. Okay, I'm guessing. Feel free to correct me, Isa. So yeah, I think you see, the first 2 weeks of the semester always a little bit chaotic, especially for international students coming to NTU. The systems is whole new. Hey, on top of the language all new, culture all new, living environment all new, right? So it's okay. It's okay. And good that you founded the score server so that you can pose the question, Isa. And Jingtao, thank you. You have renamed your display name perfectly. Okay. I think, yeah, so Jingtao wants to start the programming assignments already. So he or she, so from the name, I couldn't tell straight away the gender is. Feel free to let me know, Jintao. He or she. So he or she is looking forward to getting the workstation account, so the PA assignments can be started. Okay, good. I enjoy seeing students who are eager to learn, eager to start. But you see, we need to form groups first, which is quiz 2. Thank you for replying. Oh, no problem. Kaze, who are you? Kaze is Japanese. Okay. So we in quiz 2, you guys will try to form groups. So in quiz 2, you'll be given a longer amount of time, probably the longest in the entire semester. Okay. So you guys will be able to kind of chit chat a little bit, but online. Okay. To try to identify teammates. But I understand even if I give you a long time, it might still be not long enough to, comfort. So what I suggest you do for quiz 2 is to just, in case you're not quite sure, just, pose as a one-person team first and answer all the questions in quiz 2. Okay. And later on, you are allowed to merge with other teams. Or you can, work with a couple or maybe 3 teams and try to split the members, okay, so that you can kind of split load evenly, all right? So, hey, Jintao, that is something that we will try to do in quiz 2, all right? Once the team number, so as Polly is grading quiz 2, you'll be assigned a team number. And given the team number, you will see the user account, and Polly will also post the password for the accounts accordingly. and that would appear in the, I think, the PA channels. Obviously in the PA1 channel, which is currently empty. Okay, when it's closer, when I know your teams, then it will be posted here. Okay, now let's go back to ask us anything. Yeah, I guess that's all in the ask us anything. Oh, okay, Kaze is Jintao, a Japanese name. Okay, cool. And then what do we have here? I see quite a bit of conversation in the random topic already. Yeah, because I mentioned already yesterday at the end. Feel free to go on the random topic channel and introduce yourself and try to form teams. Okay, so you see, I see Zhen Yu. Hey, say, I'm looking for a teammate. And then Yongxiang says, Diego says, I'm looking for a teammate. So maybe Diego, you can, talk to Yongxiang. Diego, you can talk to Zhen Yu. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I also discovered Zhen Yu, the first post. You see, there are multiple lines in a post. How did he do that? Okay, hey, I'm also assuming it's a he. Okay, Zhen Yu is a he. Okay, in case I get anything wrong, bear with me or feel free to correct me. Okay, so I think I asked him how he managed to type multiple lines in one post, and I think he said he typed the message first in a text file and copy paste, and that works for Discord. Okay. Another one, I think, Sylvian, okay, Paul, says there's a easier trick. Just hold the shift and press enter when you're at the end of a line. Then it takes you to the second line without posting the first line. Okay, so definitely remember this trick. I think this comment here is going to be very helpful. So let me try to give you something. Sparkling, okay, a shiny medal. All right. And so I see Isa and Anthony, as well as Zach, looking for, claimed. Okay. Gone, sorry. You're a group member. And Jintao is also looking for a team member. Okay. So maybe Jintao, Zhen Yu, and Yongxiang can form a team. Okay. There we have 2 teams already. Good. So at the beginning of the semester, I'll probably do a little bit more of this Q&A and checking out what's going on the Discord, so that you are more familiar with the system, okay? Because the class is in a very different form, okay? But later on, I'll probably skip talking about the Ask Us Anything Q&As or the random topics and go a little bit faster. And so you'll see also today, the lectures is gonna go a little bit slower, okay? So what are the topics today? Yeah, so we are not quite yet done with the grading because yesterday at the end, we just introduced the categories of the grades you'll be receiving, right? If you recall, PA, the programming assignment, quiz and participation, that's another big category, right? 35 points. And then lastly, the exams. Today, the first 3 videos are exactly to get into the details so that you know how the exact points will be distributed to each PA and how much will be allocated to quizzes, and if you do well, right, extra points, and how much points will be allocated to the extra points. Okay, so the details. And so let's start with the details of PA grading. Here's to talk a little bit more specific about each categories that you are earning grades. So homework assignments, essentially PAs. You guys will be working on a Unix workstation that I'll be giving you the user account and the password so you can log on. If you take a look at the PA assignments description, you will see a little bit more how you log on and try and follow through the description to complete the assignment. Okay? And for the socket programming part, you'll be using Golang. All the submissions are in electronic format. From the description, you will see how you submit. Stage 1 is for you to exercise a particular type of socket which is commonly used. It's called the TCP socket. PA1, you just need to log on to a Unix server and exercise the basic Unix commands. So you know how to, go places and generate files, edit files. PA2, the first serious Golang assignment. Accessing file, but we are not doing socket yet. Okay, how do you read from a file? How do you write into the file? PA3, now, can you read from a file and upload that file to a server? Or, upload to a server. So you're writing a client to upload the file. The server is waiting for the file to come. Okay. PA4, now turn around. You are implementing the server side taking files. Okay, and it's a server that takes only one file upload and close. PA5, it's a looping server. That server will stay on, so we could accommodate multiple file uploads, okay, from different clients. PA6 is to further extend the PA5 server such that not only we can take multiple uploads, these multiple uploads can be simultaneous. Okay, so the uploads can be coming in the same time or coming in such that it feels like the files are uploaded at the same time. Okay, it's a concurrent server. So this is a series of assignments, exercises, so that you do socket programming. As a result, you are capable of writing client-side of application, a file upload application, and sophistic server-side, okay, of the file upload server, file upload application. Second stage, we switch gear. Golang is a programming language, comes with lots of side libraries. One of them is the web server is already implemented there. Okay, you just need to call the APIs the correct way, then you already set up a web server. Okay, so in this stage, there are 3 PAs. First is for you to write a web request interpreter. So this is to write the web server side after receiving a web request, interpreting the content of the request. The web request is a message coming from a web client. Okay, the server needs to first get it and interpret it. Next, again, progressively in PA8, you finish the second part of the server, which is to generate the file, the web page the client is looking for. So you generate the response. So web response sender, generate a response and send it back to the client. Third, nowadays, hey, there are pretty much no HTTP servers around. All of the servers are HTTPS. How do you make your server a secure web server, an HTTPS server? Okay, so second stage, 9 PAs. Now, just one more thing. For the PAs, there's a PA description. It's a PDF file. You read through it and work on the PA. There's also a set of assistive videos. If you ever get stuck, watch the videos. If you feel Polly is talking too slow, just, it's YouTube video, right? Speed it up to 2 times, 1.5 times. And get to the point you get stuck. All right, sorry, that was a sharp interrupt, but you get the point. Okay. So if you go down the course page, you will see the Golang link. If you click in here, you see those 9 PA assignments all listed here. So here you see first a PDF file describing the assignment. Okay, so this is clicking in. And each assignment, a background will be given, and then showing a few examples, and then see if you can copy or learn from the examples and achieve what you're asked to do for each PA. All right, so here's a PDF description to begin with. If you have trouble, okay, for example, logging on or programming or debugging, watch through these videos. Okay, assistive videos. Okay, so there are multiple parts. Probably might be a little bit more verbose than necessary with in these videos, but these videos are there so that even those who don't have sufficient programming experience are still able to follow what I'm trying to communicate teaching the PA. So these assisted videos are all Poly will be doing, teaching programming, circuit programming using Golang. Okay, so if you have trouble, just follow the PDF and complete the assignment. Instead of quickly trying to ask other people, exercise self-help. And I have already provided some videos to help you. Okay. All right, so for each assignment, a PDF file and a series of assisted videos. Okay, watch the videos, or hey, follow what the videos are doing. Okay, side by side. If the video is going too fast, pause, finish your thing. Make sure you're catching up with the video, and then play again. Good. So that is the PA part of the grade to be receiving. And this is usually the safest part to get the grades in my course. Okay. Now, the second part, participation and quizzes. Next, the quizzes. They will just pop up in the middle of the lecture, but these problems are related to the topics we just talked about or we will be talking about. So you'll be given time to work on the quizzes in class. Those straightforward quizzes will be given short amount of time. Those that are a little bit more open, that requires creativity and brainstorming, will be given more time. Okay, so you guys try to find your teammate, establish another channel like a line chat group there to have discussion, and type up the conclusion. Type up whatever you have on Slack, and this is what typically students do. There's going to be a channel created for each quiz. Okay, so when I say quiz time, okay, then I'm gonna introduce the quiz, and then you can go see if the channel is right there on Slack and type up your solution there. All right, so post your solutions on Slack, okay, right there in class. Definitely, that's great. We'll talk about the solutions in class. Now, those who prefer to watch videos offline, type up your solution by Saturday, 6 p.m. And this is for the quizzes given that week. Okay. Now, some of you might prefer verbally tell me what you have come up with. It's okay. You can call in using Google Meet and just speak about it. Now, the quiz part of the grade is going to be graded based on completion rate. If you finish 3/4 of them, you get 3/4 of the 25 points. Those solutions, okay, that are thoughtful, unique, and those that are quick and amazing gets extra points. So there'll be 5 extra points reserved to those teams who are particularly creative, particularly thoughtful, particularly quick, okay, at typing things up. Okay. So together, quiz, 30 points. The PAs and the quizzes, they all come with the due date and due time. If you submit late, there's going to be a penalty. And the amount of penalty depends on how late you are. If you are late, only a few minutes within an hour, 10% deducted. Beyond 1 hour, but within 6 hours, 20%. So you can follow this chart here and see that if it's more than 1 day late, all points are taken. Okay, so be careful. Don't be late. Class participation. So there's 5 points towards the semester grade comes from participation. Essentially, all interactions count. Therefore, when you are interacting with me, with other students, identify yourself. So all interactions, including on Slack, on YouTube, as well as email. Right there live during the lecture or offline, okay, all counts. So it's not just interacting with me, but also interacting with the other students. This part of the grade is going to be based on a curve. Some of you might be more active, some of you might be less active. Okay, we'll scale the 5 points across from 0 to 5 to those who participate more versus less. Okay, so there's going to be a maximum point, participation point, and minimum participation points, and they'll be scaled to 0% to 5%. All right, so those are the quizzes. And sorry that I was referring to Slack for discussion. You know what? We used to use Slack, but I've changed to use Discord recently. Okay, I think this is just the second semester I tried this. Okay, and so far so good. Now the last part, exam. Exam. We know that it's gonna be in Google Form. The all Google Forms, including the all exams, are all available from the exam link from the course page. Definitely try them out. In addition to working on the Google Forms, most of these questions are in the Q&A form. You will see. You need to also join a Google Meet video session. So you need to have a working camera. You need to have a stable internet connectivity as well, so that at least we could check the picture on your ID. You need to show your ID. We need to see the picture on the ID and your face right there in front of the camera. And throughout the exam, we need to show yourself also shoulder up in front of the camera, so we could see that you are busy working on the exam instead of chatting, talking, okay, to other people. There's no early or makeup exam because it's online. You can take it anywhere around the world, okay, as long as there's internet access. Now, in case we find any weird behavior, you receive 0 for the grades, and we report to the department of the university. There's a late submission penalty for the exam as well. If it's late but within 1 minute, 12 points deducted. If it's within 2 minutes but beyond 1 minute, 25 points. Within 3 minutes, beyond 2 minutes, 50 points deducted. Otherwise, all points deducted. All right, so those are the exam grades, 3 each, 10 points. And it's gonna be in Google Form. It will be very unusual, okay? So for the first exam, I'll try to make it a little bit easier so that you get used to doing an exam on Google Form. And what's important there is that you wanna have a camera there in your exam taking environment, taking your headshot, okay, up to the shoulder. All right, and the last thing, we're done with the grading policy. Before quiz 2, there's just one last video, which is very brief, less than a minute. Last is just the class material. There's a textbook. It's the very classic computer network top-down approach book. We'll use the 7th edition. There's an 8th edition, but the difference is just very little. So let's stick to the 7th edition. The goal and assignments, there's a reference book. It's freely online. The PDF is accessible from the course page. Slides in PDF format available from the course page. Videos on YouTube also available from the course page. Everything else on Slack. And if you cannot find them, just ask. All right, and that takes us to quiz 2. But we do have a question from Isa. Is there a good place on campus to take the exam? Yeah, so you're not quite sure about the internet connectivity in the dorm. I think you can try the department building if there are empty offices or empty lecture rooms, okay, or like, you know, study spaces, okay, in the department buildings. Miguel. Sorry, I was trying to explain. This semester, in fact, from last semester, we started using Discord for off-class communication, okay, for text-based communication. So Miguel, we are actually doing it on Discord. And I'm not sure if you are already on Discord. If you are not, here is how you get on Discord. So there's a link from the course page. It's an invitation to the class's Discord server. There you go. All right. Feel free to ask. Okay. it's okay. At the beginning of the semester, there will be all sorts of questions. Okay, feel free to ask, and hopefully the rest of the class bear with the pace. Will be a little bit slower, but later on, Polly can't wait to pick the speed up. All right, and you know what? Let's go to quiz 2. Oops, this is quiz 3. This is quiz 2. Okay, and for this quiz, and starting from this quiz, okay, each team will provide one answer. Okay, so I guess one of the team members would post on behalf of the whole team. Okay, so in order to complete this quiz, you want to form a team. Okay, it can be a one-person team. So in case you couldn't find a team member yet today, okay, during the time, try to post the solution nonetheless as a one-person team, and later on you can try to merge in case there's a vacancy from another team, or if there's another one-person team, then you can consider merging into one. Okay, and having a team already, then you work on these are the questions Polly has picked and choose and force you to answer. This is kind of enforcing you, in case you don't know exactly what the answers are, you know where to look for the answers of these questions. Okay, so Q1 asks, can you write Polly emails and messages in Chinese? Okay, when was this mentioned? This was actually mentioned very early yesterday in one of the features of the course. This course is 99% English. Okay, so is this that 1% that it doesn't need to be English? In fact, Q4 is related. Can you type up questions in Chinese in the YouTube sessions? Is it? So Q4 is a little bit tricky. Q2 and Q3, I think if you follow the schedule yesterday, you should know what day is exam 3. How much penalty? If you follow the first video today, you should know. If you submit PA1 after this time, at this time, okay, what will be the amount of penalty you receive? Okay. All right, so for Q2, you're asked to post. Oopsie, sorry. Yeah, sometimes I forget about that. I actually meant to go to this other screen here. Yeah, type up the all team members' name and ID in that reply, and follow by your answers to Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. All right. So you see, just like every quiz, you're fine. Okay, so guys, go to the score, and there's a channel called W1 Quiz 2. You will see Polly posting also the exact question there, okay, without the markups. So you guys can start typing. Okay, in case you have already composed the team, in case you already know the answers to the quiz, to the Qs, okay, as one post. And now you also know how to type multiple lines in one post. Okay, very fast. Okay, Zach. Okay, so you guys are the team where it's very complete. Okay, good. So perfect example. Let me see. No. Oh wow. Yeah. So I guess the last one. Yes, it's okay. Okay, but try not to. Very good. So perfect. But you know what? The rest of you. Okay. This particular team is well formed and very fast. So no worries. You guys will be given 15 minutes of time. Okay. So you can work on the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. In the meantime, you look for team members here. Okay. And so I guess you want to have the Q1, Q2, Q4 ready. okay? And then go up here and look for a team to join. If it's within 15 minutes time, then hey, you guys can post as send the answer as one post. Okay, good. And Polly will start counting time now. Okay, you have 15 minutes. So 10:15 now. We'll come back to check on your answers 11:05. And let's begin. Guys, sorry for the interrupt. Hey, there are students here sitting in the class remotely who are looking to add to the course. What do you do now? No, sorry. Hey, I try. Eloa. So I have trouble pronouncing your name. Sorry. Last name Borois. Okay. I know that you're trying to add. Okay, chances high that those who are in the waitlist will all get in. Okay, great. So what you want to do is pretend that you are already in the class. Okay, and do everything that the others are doing. Okay, so chances high that next week you will receive the ad call. Okay, if you are currently on the waitlist. Okay, good. So. Elon, I suppose. So I don't know if it's like Elon Musk, Elon. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's another question. So Elon, I hope that I answered your question. Okay. There's a question from Zach. For students watching the recording, will participation just come from emails and the score interactions? I'm afraid so. So Zach, typing things up interactively on the YouTube chat, that's participation. But if later on you prefer just watch the replay of the recording, then you might want to spend more time interacting on the score or sending emails or coming to the office hour. Okay, hope that's clear. Good question. All right, hey, let me go back to quiz 2. All right, okay, guys, keep working. Yeah, it looks like we converge faster. Okay, good to see that you guys are all actively reaching out. Okay, nice. You know what? Um, Messaging and email texting, no Chinese. Okay, you can always use translators. Okay, so that is supposedly easy. But if it's live on YouTube, yeah, because you know you want to ask questions real quick, right? So it's actually okay for certain phrases. Couldn't find the English way of doing it, then feel free to type up Chinese. And exam number 3 is December 21st, not exactly December 20. And yeah, there's a penalty if you submit 1 minute late the PA assignments or the quizzes. By the way, the PA assignments, the due time is also at the end of the week, Saturday, 6 p.m. Okay, so just remember Saturday, 6 p.m. Okay, every now and then check whether the teammates have submitted the quizzes, submitted the PAs. Okay, sometimes they might forget to do that. Okay, so guys, if you're already a team, watch each other's back. All right. Oh, there's a question on the chat. Ashley, you mentioned that there is an office hour via Google Meet. Where would we find the Google Meet link? Very good question, Ashley. That link is exactly the link we use for the Q&A here. So if you go to the announcement, check out the episode 1 announcement or today's announcement. Okay, this Google Meet link is going to be used throughout the semester, including the exam. Okay, and so Polly is actually here. Okay, this is the Google Meet session. Today, in fact, at the end of the lecture, I'll send you guys away saying bye. Those who would like to ask questions verbally or something that might be a little bit personal, you join this group. Okay, and by the way, when you guys click to join the Google Meet, I will let one student in at a time. Okay, because that way you don't overhear each other. Okay, that might be a better way of doing it. So some of you might need to wait slightly longer, but yeah, so you try it again a little bit later. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Ashley. It's the link we use for Q&A and interactive quiz. The interactive quiz. Okay, good. So 1-1 interaction always on the same Google Meet link, Google Meet session. Okay, great, all done. Now we can move on and start the real lectures. Okay, yeah, good thing is that we have enough time, and the first video here is to give you an overview of the whole chapter 1. By the way, the chapter 1 is the overview, okay, of the whole textbook, and this video in about 4 minutes is the overview of chapter 1. The goal in chapter 1 is so that you guys get a rough idea, get a feel of how internet is like. There'll be a lot more depth and detail later in the course in chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so you will see, right, this being the overview of everything, much of the content you'll be hearing in this chapter will be more descriptions. Okay, so we have this part that's called the edge of the internet. We have that part being called the core of the internet. Yeah, so you just hear a bunch of terms, and then there'll be a little bit more elaboration on other terms. And much of the content concerns internet, But we'll also talk about parts that, communication networks that is not quite called internet and pre-existed before there's internet. Good. And the flow of the chapter is this. We'll start from giving you a nutshell of what internet is in a few slides, like 3-4 slides. Okay, so it's like a crash course. Okay, if you really need to explain to your classmates or other friends, you're taking this course and what is the internet like? Yeah, that will be the part that you tell them what internet is. Now, in that part, we'll give you the physical view of what the internet is. But with just the infrastructure, we cannot be sending emails to each other. We cannot be chatting online through Line or through Slack to each other. So there'll be some rules we need to define how the data are being exchanged, how these computers or entities on the internet interact with each other. So there'll be some rules we need to learn as well. And we call a set of rules controlling a certain mechanism, defining a certain mechanism working on the internet, a protocol. Okay, there'll be a lot more coming. And then these two will be actually to further, zoom into the nutshell view of the internet and to give you a little bit more idea how the edge is like and what are the varieties of the edges could be. And then we'll talk about the core. We'll talk about the core. Yeah, this is actually the part that's hidden. They exist, it's just that we don't see it. Okay, there are lots of very expensive routers that are interconnected, passing data in really high speed. So up to this point, you should get a rough feeling of what the internet is and how it's working in general. Now the rest of it. Okay, so these are the things concerning internet and that we are supposed to care. Okay, as engineers who might be redesigning internet. So we care about how the internet perform in terms of data loss. Certainly, we don't like to see a lot of data losses. We care also whether it takes a lot of time to send data. Okay, hopefully we will be able to send data with short delay and things like that. And we'll talk about protocol again. There are quite a few protocols that we use actually sending email, browsing the web every day. And there's actually a very special way we group also protocols. So earlier you heard Polly trying to exercise you a little bit more and trying to link certain terms together. You know what? The protocols, because there's so many of these, okay, it's actually better that we kind of structure or sort of group the protocol so that it's a little bit easier to talk about. Okay. And the way network engineers group the protocol is so that we kind of divide them into layers. Within each layer, they are associated, they are similar in a certain way. Okay, so that's also called the service models. Okay, so it's actually a model that network engineers communicate with each other. Okay, classifying protocols into different layers. And then this is nowadays something that we care very much: security, particularly network security. How do we make sure that the data being transmitted are not hijacked, are not hacked, okay, and the secrets are not unveiled? All right, so the flow. Okay, there'll be some basic components and terms that we talk about. In fact, in the overview video, you heard those terms: protocol, right? Core, edge. Okay, we'll take a break, okay, for 10 minutes and come back to look into exactly how the internet will look like or how the internet will function. Okay, that will be the internet physical view and the internet service view, the next two topics, and followed by quiz 3. All right. So with that said, let's take a break. 10 minutes. We'll come back at 11:20. time to come back to the lecture. I'm sorry, was Polly, or is there another title you prefer? Oh, okay, so Isa was asking whether all of you need to go on the course page and then fill this Google form. No, not all of you. Those who are already in the class, you're safe. Okay, so that form is for the students who want to add to the course. Okay, that they didn't manage to get in the class and wanted to add the course now. Okay. So, by the way, there's 150 students trying to register this course at the beginning. Okay, but you see, it's not exactly because the course is popular. It's more because that the students always, select more than what they can probably consume, and so so it's hard to get into a course in NTU. I guess the registration system might need a couple more generations of refinement in the algorithm or the mechanism. Yeah. So it has already went through a couple generations of changes, and it's getting better. But we might need to make more changes to get it even better. Okay, so that it will save people from the trouble of trying to add to the courses they really need, but they didn't get in at the pre-registration phase. Okay, good. And feel free to call me Polly. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in the first video. Okay, the vital information. Okay, all right, and hey, internet, finally. And the first video, about 4 minutes, is the physical components. Actually, now about 6 minutes is about the physical components. Okay, composing the internet. All right, it's a little bit long, so try if you can sustain the whole 6 minutes. Now, what is the internet? So this picture that I'm showing is a very coarse-grained view of the internet, where you can kind of see that this part being the ISPs, okay, internet service provider. All there are in these ISPs are just these cylinders with the cross, okay, indicating that this is an exchange. So ISPs, the machines in there are mainly there to do data exchange. And then you guys are here, most of you guys are here. In NTU is an institutional network where you might be accessing the internet through wireless AP, so this is Wi-Fi. Some of you might be sitting in the dorm and having wired connection, having a PC accessing through wired connection. And some of you might be sitting at home, then your laptop connecting to Wi-Fi AP, and then connect to your ISP, and then to the rest of the internet. Now, some of you might be sitting in a cafe. That would be nice, I know. And then you guys are probably accessing the internet through your 4G network and watching the video on the laptop. That is a mobile network there you are accessing, or you can just call it wireless network if you want. Okay, so this is just saying that there are a number of different ways, a number of different kinds of access to the core of the internet. Now, in a little bit more detail and give you the full nuts and bolts view, so meaning the components. So first of all, you see the entities we're using as users are all these, okay, computing devices, PC, server, wireless laptop, smartphones. Okay, and these things are called hosts, or more professionally, end systems. Okay, we don't just call them systems because there's one common feature among these special hosts. They are all kind of sitting at the very end of this huge internet. Okay, end systems, very edge of the internet. And then, as I mentioned, right? So whatever machine you're using, whatever end systems you're using, you are connected somehow, right? to a cellular tower, right, to a Wi-Fi AP, to a institutional switch. Okay, so inside NTU, there are also a number of these routers exchanging data because we do have several departments, right? So you see typically institutional networks, there are a few more level of hierarchy than the home network, than the mobile network. But some of you could be accessing the NTU PEEP, a wireless network to the internet, all right? So these access networks, what I meant by access network there are not really there's a network, okay? Really, they are communication links, right? So if it's wireless, then we are using a radio link. If it's wireless and through a satellite modem, it's a satellite link. Now, if you're connected from home, chances high that it's a fiber link. Now, if you are connected through Ethernet I know for sure is copper link. All right, so these are different communication links we might use to access the internet. They can be wireless and wired. Now, these different access link or communication link technologies are all slightly different in terms of this, the transmission rate, the number of bits they can transmit per second, BPS. Now, in this course, computer networks, we also call this transmission rate the bandwidth. It actually meant more the width of the communication band, okay, of the network band. Now, this is somewhat different from if you take electromagnetic wave courses when we're talking about, oh, there's certain frequency band in the EM waves that we're using to transmit modulate bits. Okay, so bandwidth there is also referring to the frequency band. But here, the bandwidth, we actually refer to the network channel band. All right. At the abstract level, it's also a band, but we actually meant the band of slightly different things. And last, yeah, very important entity. Most of us don't see a router in our everyday life. If you want to see one, I don't know, check out these videos released by Google and showing their data center. All these, slim boxes there is a router, okay? And they are running all the time, passing data, forwarding data in really high speed, okay? And by the way, I'm actually saying the routers forward packets because on the internet, the data are usually divided into chunks, okay? And these chunks are referred to as packets. So later on, you'll see me saying data packets or data messages. Okay, I actually meant things that are similar, all right? So routers, well, there's just one thing, routers. Of course, these routers are manufactured by different companies, so therefore there are different brand names like Cisco, like D-Link, yeah, lots of them. Juniper, there's another one, a major one in the States. All right, so what did you get here? We have end systems, we have routers, and the communication links connecting these routers or between the end systems and the routers. Okay. So the end systems, you see that they could be mobile, they could be in a home, they could be in a company, and we kind of call these end systems differently. End systems in an institutional network, for example. And in your mind, you probably think that, hey, I have a smartphone connected to the internet, therefore it's an end system. I have a desktop connected to the internet, therefore it's an end system. You know what? Nowadays, there are actually more end systems. And out of these traditional forms, or the forms that we are familiar with, they are called the Internet of Things. All right, so let me say a little bit more about the end systems with this slide. Laptop, PC, servers, smartphones. These are the things we typically use to connect to the internet. But nowadays, if you go to these electronic shops, if you go do a little bit shopping on the Amazon or PC Home, you see there are these generation of new things coming along, and they can all be connected to the internet. They're called these IoT, the Internet of Things. Yeah, things is a very general term because these things don't have a specific form. So they could be internet-capable toaster, internet-capable power meter, internet-capable mattress, internet-capable fridge, and this is a picture frame. Okay, so for example, Twitter watt. This is a smart meter that connects to the internet, and this meter can actually, take the reading and go on Twitter and tweet the reading itself. So you can imagine that the power company, power suppliers, energy suppliers can just, take the readings from Twitter without, taking a trip, okay, to your home. Smart mattress, right? So this mattress can sense how you sleep overnight and provide some feedback to you. This can further be made into something that's a little bit robotic, not just being capable of sensing, and so try to adjust the firmness of the mattress so that to ensure you have a good sleep. Smart fridge, I always like to have one of these. So it actually takes, there are cameras inside, so they take actually photos of the milk. So sometimes when I was, in the grocery shop, I would really like to know whether I should be buying milk today. So this smart fridge will be able to remind us, okay, when we're in the grocery shop, whether it's time, okay, to buy milk. Picture frame. I think this is one of the very, very old IoT device. It's connected to the internet, and it was using a way that, hey, so you guys can send recent pictures through these IP frames to your grandpa. So you give these IP frames as a gift to your grandma, and so that every day they kind of see different pictures from you. Now this one is Polly's favorite. It's a smart toaster. So what it does is that it will go on the web and retrieve the weather, okay? And so when you're making the toast, you kind of burn the mark corresponding to the weather today. So as you're eating it, you know the weather seamlessly, okay, without needing to check on the web. Nice, isn't it? Okay, so those who like the smart toaster say yes. Those who find it boring say no. All right. Okay, so that's physical view. Okay, the next video actually introduces. Okay, glad that you like it, Sophia. Convenient. Okay, cool. Yeah, and the next video. Okay, let's push it a little bit further. Okay, we'll be introducing a soft notion, okay, to the internet. So topic 4 here is to talk about the hardware. Okay, there's a softer side, but to transition from the hard side to the soft side. Oh, okay, boring. Okay, good. Hey, you guys are all entitled to different opinions. Now, next video, I'll be introducing a new term called protocol. Okay, you'll hear Polly explaining protocol. Okay, and given that we know there are these components, okay, that if we put them together, it forms the internet. But there's also a certain structure, okay, in this, connected network, a huge connected network. Okay, and there's a certain hierarchy in it. Okay. So people often call the internet is a network of networks. That's what the next video is about. And so those covers kind of all the components that's composing this very coarse-grained internet. But on top of the physical structure, there are also these rules, okay, that's controlling sending, receiving of the data, right? Such as, this is probably the third time that I talked about this term, TCP. HTTP is the protocol, the set of rules, okay, overwatching how you send data over the web. Yeah, so pretty much for each of the service, there is a specific protocol. For each type of service, for data transferring, there is a specific protocol. And so you see in general, the internet is a network of networks. So this is what? A network of a subnetwork. Right? So institution network is a network. Home network is a network. Global ISP forms a network. Regional ISP forms a network. And the internet is actually the bigger network of all these smaller networks interconnected each other. And it's loosely hierarchical. Why? If you look a little bit closer, yeah, this mobile network is connected to actually a higher tier ISP, while this home network and institution network is actually connected to a lower tier, a regional ISP. Okay, so it's not necessary that mobile network is level 2 or level 3. Okay, in this case, it's actually level 2 at the similar level as the regional ISP if they share the global ISP. All right, so this is what I meant here. It's loosely hierarchical. Right? And there are parts of the internet being public, okay, meaning everyone involved, okay, in the society, in that region, okay, they will try to donate and to take part in contributing the expense of running that public part of the internet. But for most part of the internet, it's now private. So for NTU, an institutional network to access the institution's ISP, usually we pay. Okay. Similarly, at home, you pay the ISP for access. Similarly here, if you're using 4G, yeah, you pay someone to get access. So these, as long as you're paying, that means you're accessing a private network. Okay. There are occasionally public network, not a whole lot, but usually public network, the reason that we don't pay is because essentially we are contributing part of the work, okay, sharing part of the cost already, okay, by forming a consortium and paying a specific membership fee. All right, so network of networks. And next, the software. So we'll talk a little bit more about protocol. Now the service view. Okay. To explain, we've learned, right, the nuts and bolts that's composing the physical internet. That is the communication infrastructure to allow us to actually have these applications sitting at the very top at the first place. But the communication infrastructure on its own will not be allow us to send data really that freely. So we could do surfing, we could send emails to each other. Between the apps and the infrastructure, we still have a number of these communication services defined by these protocols. Okay, that's running on each of the devices, running in these routers. Okay, so there's a software component, a service component there as well. Now, two major classes of services that are provided by the internet are these: reliable data delivery versus the unreliable data delivery. Okay, so internet, essentially, it's not just a physical infrastructure, but also an infrastructure with software support so that we could run all sorts of distributed apps on top of the whole thing. There's just one thing I want to clarify. For unreliable data delivery service provided by the internet, a lot of times we just call them the best effort service. Yeah, I know it's a little bit counterintuitive because reliable data delivery is obviously better than the unreliable data delivery. Okay, so why calling the unreliable service the best effort service? Yeah, take note here. We're saying this is best effort service. We're not calling it the best service. Yeah, this is a kind of a polite way of saying that, hey, there's no guarantee. If you recall cases where your friend's asking you for favors, but you are not, that you don't have time for it already. So a lot of times what you say to your friends, right, politely, is, I'll try my best. Okay, so that's what we meant here, calling these unreliable data delivery services the best effort services. Yeah, so physical internet, and running over the internet, we send data. Sometimes we can use a reliable service. Sometimes we use an unreliable service. Now, you can imagine then these two different services, there are different mechanisms running underlying. Okay? And these mechanisms that facilitate transmission of data, a lot of times we call them the protocols. So we have a reliable data transfer protocol versus a unreliable data transfer protocol. Okay? So protocol, think of it as the definition of a mechanism facilitating communication. Okay? Now let's take a look at a couple examples, because human communication also has certain implicit protocol being defined. This is so that I can impress you more about this term protocol. It is a slightly more formal way of calling a set of rules, okay? Calling a standard way of parties communicating with each other, all right? So two very simple examples I'm giving, and as analogy to another. One on the left is a human protocol, okay? One asking for another person for information. The other is an internet protocol. One end system asking another end system for information. So you see here, very often when Alice wants to find out what is the time, she says hi, right? And then maybe a friend here catching, Alice needs a bit help. Bob says hi back, okay? Showing that, okay, what do you want to know? Alice says, have you got time? And Bob provided the information that Alice is looking for. Similarly, we as users might be sitting in front of a desktop using a web browser trying to get the content from this URL. So yeah, that browser sends a message to the web server that holds the content. And that server will say, sure, you got my attention. What are you looking for? Client sends, I'm looking for this page. And server sends back the content, okay, of that URL is indicating to. So that is a simple protocol in human world and in the computer world. To sum it up, a protocol, it can be a human protocol or a computer protocol. Okay, so that example you just saw is for Alice to ask Bob for a time, a client asking for a server for certain information, or for you to ask a question. For example, if you raise your hand, right, that's like you saying hi. And if Polly noticed that, Polly says, okay, good, what is the question? Then you start by asking the question, Polly answering the question. So that is the protocol to get a question answered. Okay, so for people first meeting each other, how do you introduce each self to each other? Yeah, so there are specific protocols that allowing human to communicate with each other. Okay, so they are usually involving specific messages and specific actions taken after the messages are received, right? And then so on and so forth, right? You know what? That's very similar in the computer network, okay? And the parties involved are just simply replacing humans with machines, okay? And so all these communications happening in the computer network, okay, are governed by these protocols, where we define messages being exchanged and the orders of them being exchanged and the actions each of these computers, each of these entities, okay, need to take after receiving certain messages. All right, so protocols. Quiz 3 is coming up, but let me address Mikhail's question here. Yeah, so it was a little bit confusing, right? Because in one of the slides I said communication infrastructure. And underneath that, there are these applications like email, web, okay, and working together with the infrastructure that forms the internet. Okay, you know what? Email is also one of the services, but it's a higher level service. Okay, not exactly the service that I was talking about at the second bullet. And so those internet services are actually lower level. Email might be using one of these reliable protocol or unreliable protocol. Okay, but Mikhail, you're right. Okay, sorry for the confusion. The communication infrastructure, there's a hardware part. Okay, the application layer services. Okay, so email, web, are actually counted on that slide as part of the overall infrastructure, including hardware and software. But the physical internet, of course, it is an infrastructure. It's a physical infrastructure. Okay? But if you consider all these software, higher level, or services higher level or lower level, yeah, of course, altogether, it is still an infrastructure. But the software part or these services are more to make sure that the hardware components will function properly. Okay. So Mikhail, in short, emails, I think it is also one of the services. Okay, it's part of the internet infrastructure, but not a physical part of the infrastructure. Okay, I hope that is a little bit more clear. And here's quiz 3. All right, so quiz number 3. This is, again, as I said, starting from quiz 2, teamwork. Okay, so this one is about protocol. Okay, and the background is this: Polly reads extensively. Discover in Wall Street Journal an interesting article. This was back in 2013. Okay, so the protocol of greeting each other is actually quite delicate. So if you don't know what's appropriate to the people you're greeting with, it might get awkward. Look at this picture here. The girl seems to be uncomfortable, okay, with the guy hugging her. So you know what? Greeting each other can be complicated. Americans like to hug. Europeans and Latinos do this cheek touching. Yeah, we do have a few Europeans here. Okay, I don't know if there are Latinos here. By the way, from country to country in Europe, the way you do the cheek touch is also different. Sometimes you do it, in some places you do it 3 times. In some other places you do it 2 times. It's really tricky, okay? Holly had a hard time, really, during the period of time living in Europe. Okay, and Japanese bow, okay, very often. I guess the most of the world does this, handshaking. Okay, Latina, great, Maria, welcome. Yeah, Maria, I don't know, I'm not sure where you're from exactly, but I think Latino do the cheek touching 3 times, if I remember correctly. In Switzerland, we do it 2 times. From Mexico, okay, welcome. All right, so let me know exactly how many times you touch the cheeks in Mexico. All right, just 1 time. Okay, interesting. 1 or 2 or 3. Right? If you run into someone who touches more than 1 time, then hey, you get surprised. Okay, it gets a little bit awkward. Yeah. So you see, greeting, not exactly straightforward. Oh, really? Okay, Lucas, thank you for the point. But when I was in Switzerland, we did that a lot. Or maybe it's because it's a French-speaking side of Switzerland. Okay, I guess that's probably a little bit of French influence. But hey, bottom line, when you run into someone new, you want to make friends. You want to be polite, right? Instead of making a situation awkward. Interesting, Lucas. Good to know. Even in France, maybe depending on the regions, how many times you touch the cheeks differ. Yeah. And you want to, gesture correctly so that you kind of do the cheek. You kind of desynchronize when you're doing the cheek touching. Otherwise, you'll be bumping each other straight to the face, right? I know, complicated. Europe is a very, very interesting place, guys, or domestic students. You definitely want to go and experience. Italy 2 times. Argentina. Okay. So Latino or Latin America seems 1 time, right? Chile, Argentina, and Mexico 1 time. Good. So Italy 2 times and France complicated. But hey, bottom line, you want to be polite. So you want to sort of not offend other people and making the situation awkward. So a lot of times, this is what we do. So as Polly was backpacking, ages ago, I kind of I kind of get this anxiety exactly how I greet another person I run into in a hostel. Okay, so most people do this. You do as the others do. So I learned from my friends that, yeah, this is probably the best way. But you know what? I thought about it. Okay, so I ask you, how do you know what others will do? Right? Okay. Whether you should, I mean, you don't know what they do. Whether you should bow, shake hands, hugs, or do the cheek touching. So yeah, guys, this is one of these open-ended quiz that there's no one solution. Ah, I see. I see. Thank you, Tao. I guess after COVID, the way we communicate changed, isn't it? Yeah, so hey, I've already seen students posting on the W1 Quiz 3 channel. You know what? This is one of those open-ended questions. You're free to discuss within the team, and you'll be given 8 minutes to discuss before you post the solution. Okay? So 8 minutes to discuss and 1 minute to post. So we'll come back to check on what you guys have. Okay? In order to predict what the others will do to greet you. All right? Or will be comfortable when you greet them a certain way. So 9 minutes, it's now 11:52. Let's come back at 12:01 and check on your answers. And here's the suspense. Go to W1 Quiz 3 channel _ Good question from Justin. Starting from quiz 2, you give one answer for the entire team. So one member will be posting on behalf of a team, right? Okay. Hmm. All right. Yeah, I guess the discussion is done, and some of you are still typing the result of discussion out. But let's check out a few interesting solutions here. Okay. So Sylvan is the first. If you already know the person, simply repeat. Yeah, of course. And this is the easy part, right? If you don't, you can try to guess from the person's behavior. Oh, okay. So I guess what you meant is that you kind of wait until the person you want to agree with to initiate the greeting. So you can try to find the habits. Oh, okay. So this is slightly different. Okay, find the habit of the country you're in. Okay, so I think in some other groups, this answer I see do as Romans do. So I guess in a particular area and depending on the culture, greeting culture of the area, if you just follow that culture, it should be appropriate. Okay, good. And then Sophia here says, Sophia and Miguel, we can have an intuition using the person's origin as a reference point. Yes, if we know where the person is from, yeah, it will be a lot easier. Yes. Okay, so hey, just ask. Okay. So consider asking part of the greeting. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so you do what the Romans do. Caveat, kissing greeting. Oh, really? Depends on the gender as well as the relationship. Okay, I see. You kiss the family members and very close friends, but not everyone. Okay, got it. Lucas, yeah, reading Lucas's solution, it draws a smile on my face. Look at this. Step 1, think about previous knowledge of the person and their customs. Look at the posture, okay, and this kind of repeats what Sylvian was suggesting, right? Slightly start the movement. Yeah, in case the other one is also hesitating, then you try to initiate. So Lucas's solution, or I say algorithm, is more complete. Okay, there are more conditions considered. And look at that one. Look at the last one. as Lucas initiate action, he will be observing the reaction from the other part. Right? If they do the same, then go on with the rest of the greeting. If not, change over. Okay, and instead of being aggressive, being a little bit more mild and neutral. Okay. Yeah, actually based on the look of the person. Yeah, so observing as you start to greet. Okay. And the person usually, yes. If you don't, give you a clear hint. Then it's safer to go with the not so personal classic handshake. Yeah, I guess handshake is universal. It's trying to be polite, and yet it can be just a light shake. Sometimes I get a really firm grip. Okay, that also gets things a little bit awkward. Okay, so yeah, just even if we use the most universal shake, it's still a little bit subtle. Okay, and that seems to be a nature of human relationship. All right, hey guys, I think we went through enough of these sample solutions. Polly would definitely go down the list and read all you guys' solutions. Okay, and sometimes I might find it so interesting and respond to it. Okay, but if you get an icon like this, that means that I've checked and you've passed, okay, the quiz. Okay, that's why you see that for every high in quiz 1, I give you a smiley face, thumbs up, okay, or a cup of coffee. Yeah, so these indicates that I've read the quizzes and I think it's good. Okay, if I find the solution not exactly sufficient, I will ask you, or somewhat incorrect, I will ask you to make an update. Okay, so you don't want to go too easy on answering these quizzes. This is an open quiz, therefore I'm very tolerant of what you guys have in mind. But later on, there might be some quizzes that, hey, we have certain formula, and you need to calculate based on that formula. And so if the answer is incorrect, then I would say no, you need to try it again. All right? Good. So yeah, that's quiz number 3. And these 3 quizzes are the assignments for this week. Okay. If you have already completed it, great. There's nothing more to do. But you see that later on there'll be more quizzes, or quizzes that requires more thinking, or requires serious discussion between the members. You might not be able to complete them all online in class. Okay, so some of the quizzes I would say that this is a take-home quiz. Okay, that means then I will introduce the quiz, but you guys will have to think and discuss and post a solution after the class. Okay, because I need your attention following the rest of the class. Okay, so that's how the quizzes go, and a big part of the assignments you need to turn in for this course the rest of the semester. Okay, with that said, we have only 3 minutes left, and you know what, I think it's better to stop now, call it a day, because the next video is 4 minutes long. It's gonna go over time. Okay, Polly is also very conscious about time. Maybe it's because I've lived in Switzerland for too long, okay? So guys, try to be punctual, okay? It's okay to be a little bit late, but don't pick on a habit of being late consistently. And to turn in the assignments, there are deadlines specified and penalties specified. Polly will adhere to these rules that we have set. Okay. All right, so that's all for the day. Okay. With that said, I say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye, guys. And let me pause the music for a little bit, because following the lecture is the office hour. Okay, so I'm right here. So in case you have questions that might be a little bit personal, this is the platform for you to ask that kind of questions. Okay, and buy it again. It's really awkward seeing two of myself on the screen. Okay, so let me. Much better. Okay, bye. Smile and wave. Let's see, do I have a wave? Yes, I do. Imitate. I see. Mm-hmm.